We're going to be practicing how to set up problems with percents in proportions. We're going to be able to answer these questions. These are going to be the main focus of Chapter 4, Section 3, or questions like them. Now, what you'll notice is you're going to be finding the part, the whole, and the percent in some of these problems. You need to know how to find each piece of your proportion, and your proportion being the common is over of equals percent over 100. We're going to be finding we're going to be figuring out how to find the is, find the of, and the percent. We're going to be doing it with modeling. So, sorry about that. A baseball pitcher won 80% of the games he pitched. If he pitched 35 ball games, how many games did he win? Jerry, an electrician, worked 7 months out of the year. What percent of the year did he work? And Jim got a 62.5% on his test. He knows he got 35 problems right. How many problems did he get wrong? So we're going to model it. Starting with the first one, the baseball pitcher who won 80% of the games. If he pitched 35 ball games, we need to figure out how many he won. So we're going to make a bar. And this bar is going to represent how many, shouldn't be pitches, it should be games. How many games he's won. 0 games won is 0%. All 35 games won would have been 100%. So 35 is 100% of the times the baseball player played a game. The question that you need to ask yourself to set this up is, where is 80%? We need to put 80% somewhere. Now, you don't have to be perfect, but you got to understand that 80% is more than halfway, probably more than 3/4 of the way. So I put it about right there. Is it really there? Give or take, somewhere in this range. But that's where our 80% lies. And that is our unknown value, the number of games that he won. So what we need to do is ask ourselves, based on this model, what is the question? And what is it going to look like as a simple sentence? So here's our problem. That is your is. The number of pitches that you're trying to find is. You know your percent is 80. And your of is 35, because your of is always based on 100. There's your story problem, or there's your word problem. What is 80% of 35? And now we just set up a proportion, is over of equals percent over 100, which turns into x, that is your is, over of, which is your 35, is 80% out of 100. And then cross multiply and solve, and that just means taking x and 100, multiplying them, 80 and 35 and multiplying them, and that would get you as I type this into my calculator, 28. And you have to think back to this problem. What does that mean? That means 28 pitches, or 28 games he won. Think about other ways you could set up a proportion based on this model. Does it have to always be the is over of, or could you set it up separately based on this model? 62.5% of freshmen entering college graduate from it. If there are 2,680 freshmen, how many of those will graduate from that college? Round to the nearest whole if you need to. Possible answers are 2,332, 1,675, 4,288, and 2,024. Go ahead and pause and do that problem right now. Model it, write an equation, is over of equals percent over 100, and solve. For more practice, you're going to be on page 200, numbers 7 through 12, all. Let's model this one. Jerry, an electrician, worked 7 months out of the year. What percent of the year did he work? Here's our bar. What goes there? If this is our empty, and this is our full of our gas tank, what would go here? If you worked 0 months, and that's 0%. If you worked 12 months, you'd have 12 here, and that would be 100% of the months of the year. Now, we need to figure out how far 7 months would represent. If this is 12 and this is 0, how far along is 7 months? It's going to be more than half, because 6 is half, so it'd probably be somewhere around here. Sweet. And what will we put on the top and the bottom? 7 months is on the top, and this is what we're looking for on the bottom. So here's our equation, or the question. 7 is what percent of 12? So, is over of is 7 is your is, 12 is your of, and your percent is what you're looking for. So you're going to cross multiply. 7 times 100 divided by 12. And you're going to get 58.3%. So it works 58% of the year almost, or a little more than. And again, think about other ways you could set up this proportion problem. Instead of is over of equals percent over 100, what else could you do to get the same answer? So the next problem is, try this on your own. Mr. Seals weighed 308 pounds from previous weight gain activity in Chapter 2. He wants to weigh 185 pounds. So far, he's lost 45. What percent of his goal has he reached? If necessary, round to the nearest whole. Now, this information is incomplete because our goal is to lose a certain amount of weight. If I am this heavy and I want to weigh this much and I've only lost this much, I need to figure out what percent of this is out of how much I need to lose. And you need to figure out how much I would need to lose first before you can say what the percent is towards my goal. Possible answers are 37%, 61%, 24%, and 66%. Page 200, 1 through 6 all is where your extra practice lies for that type of problem. Okay, let's model this one. Jim got a 62.5% on his test. He knows he got 35 problems right. How many problems did he get wrong? What goes where? Hopefully you recognize that this is 0 and this is 0%. He got 0 problems right, 0%. Here, we need to figure out how many problems are on the test. And here is how much that is in 100%. So this is 100%. What's 100% of the test problems? So, and 35 problems, 62.5% is about, I don't know, right here-ish. So you'd fill this in, and you have 35, and you have 62.5%. So 35 is 62.5% of what number? And then that's going to be is, and that's going to be of, and that's going to be percent. So 35 over x equals 62.5 over 100. And then cross multiply and solve. 3,500 divided by 62.5. 56. So there was 56 problems on the test. Does that answer my question? No, it does not, because we want to know how many he got wrong. So if there was 56 total problems and we got 35 right, you got to take 56 and minus 35, and you get 21. And that's how many problems he missed. Okay, so last you try problem. Bill spends 30% of his income on rent. If he pays $810 for each rent each month, what is the monthly income? Round to the nearest whole if necessary. Possible answers: $243, $3,703, $3,142, and $2,700. Go ahead and pause now. And if you didn't see the answer already, it's page 200, 13 through 19 for additional practice.